Testing, 1, 2. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been over a month since we filmed last. Yeah, we did a few little shorts while we were in Melbourne, but hasn't been an actual video since the last show day, so it's been nearly 2 months really. Yeah, the 2023 comp season wrapped up mid-November. Since then we've just been readjusting to normal life. Personally, I've just been doing some nutrition study now, so that's basically taking up most of my time outside of personal training and coaching and that sort of stuff. Still getting on with the off season and getting back into the swing of regular training now. Yeah, that's where we're at in the last couple of months. Put on a good amount of weight to start feeling normal again, and so today's video we're gonna do a little bit of a wrap up on the 2023 comp prep. Talk about the goals for 2024, next round of next season of competitions, that sort of thing. We're gonna do a little bit of a Q&A style interview thing now, so in terms of prep itself, it was quite smooth this year, or last year. We ran macros the whole way through, so I got to choose literally everything that I ate, so I never got bored of foods. Yeah, so having the freedom to choose whatever foods I wanted that fit into my macros was probably one of the easiest parts. Working to a step count as well in the early stages of prep was easy as well, rather than doing a whole bunch of gym-based cardio, which we definitely got to later in prep, which you would have seen in those videos with hours and hours and hours on the Stairmaster, but it was all necessary part of the prep. Easiest part I'd say would just be working with macros rather than sticking to a meal plan throughout prep, so there wasn't a whole lot of like monotony of eating the exact same foods every single day, even though I was eating more so the same foods, but it was foods that I wanted to eat and I was choosing to eat, so that was probably the easiest part. Probably on a personal level, I had my nan pass away midway through prep. So that was literally right in the middle of prep. I lost my nan. She was my only living grandparent left. So yeah, being able to get through that and achieve what I did throughout prep made it mean that much more to be able to achieve all of that. Having gone through that hard time in the middle of prep, having to extend prep an extra 3 weeks after the ICN Nationals was difficult as well, because I was very, very much ready to just call prep after completing that long-term goal of winning the ICN Pro card and stepping on a pro stage for the first time there. Having to push prep on for another 3 weeks, which ended up making prep like 38 weeks total. That was difficult, plus I got sick in the week following the ICN Nationals, so battling through sickness in a deep deficit and all of that was a very difficult last couple of weeks, but all part of it, and I'm happy I got on stage for that last time last year. Everything I went through was added to the whole experience of last year's prep. Baked oats was definitely a staple. That was one of my favorites. Massive sweet tooth, so that sort of curbed the sweet tooth a little bit. Some of the favorite savory items, I made homemade burgers, burger thins, and I also did some homemade tacos. They were pretty good. Some like soft shell tacos with pulled chicken. They were good. They're probably the main ones that come to mind. When macros were really low, prawns and asparagus was surprisingly a good meal. Mushrooms became a massive favourite of mine during prep, and I've barely touched them since I finished prep, so funny the amount of foods that lifesavers during prep and then you never touch them again once off season comes around and you start tasting regular food again. Yeah, so baked oats, Homemade burgers, homemade tacos, they were probably 3 of my favourite meals that I did through prep. Homemade burgers are actually a staple at the moment as well, so they've continued on. Well, I mean, up until the ICN Nationals, that was easy because I had that long-term goal in mind that I wanted to achieve, which was the ICN Pro card, which was stepping on a pro stage. I mean, I've been working towards that for every single session for the last 2 years, and been dedicated to achieving that goal. So that was easy to maintain that focus, and even with prep being so long. But yeah, as I was saying, with the prep extending that extra 3 weeks, once I'd achieved that long-term goal, it was really difficult to maintain my focus on what I still had ahead, purely because I'd already achieved the big goal that I'd set out for myself for last year. For me, I set my comp plans at the start of the year, and once I've dedicated myself to doing that show, there's no chance I'm going to be pulling out of the show. So can't really say there's anything special that I do mindset wise, although I have started journaling this year, so that's I mean, the last couple of years I've done more reading, and yeah, I guess I read mindset books and that sort of stuff, and reading about how champions think, and they were big books that I read, mindsets of champions and that sort of thing, and learning about attributes that make a champion. And yeah, so I guess that indirectly was helping me maintain my focus and that sort of stuff throughout prep. So I mean, food supplement wise, being protein powders and that sort of stuff, that goes down. Amino acids, that's all just counted into my calories. So basically, if they don't fit into my calories, then they go out. In terms of vitamins and general health supplements, definitely relied more upon health supplements to help me sleep at night. That was probably the biggest thing, using a lot more ashwagandha, cortisol control stuff, adrenal control, like having adrenal switch every night, plenty of magnesium before bed, definitely up my glutamine intake to help with immune function and gut health and that sort of stuff. Core hard to help with cortisol and that sort of stuff. That was a big one that I introduced late stages of prep to help with sleep. And I definitely noticed when I didn't have that, because my sleep went to absolute shit when I didn't have it. Not that sleep was great anyway, but the quality of sleep was definitely better when I had certain products rather than when I didn't. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Supplement wise, was not a whole lot, like not taking iron supplementation or anything like that. Although it definitely probably would have helped if I'd done that sort of thing, because yeah, energy levels were plummeting in late stages of prep there, as you definitely would have seen if you watched the prep series. Energy levels at the start of prep were up here, and then they just tapered off as the season went on. Yeah, so they were the main things supplement wise. So early stages of prep, I went in with a training program that I was planning to follow, but basically as soon as I noticed any sort of strength decrease, I'd very quickly sub that exercise out. That leads into the next question, so I won't go too much into depth there. Basically, I went from having a structured training program in the early stages of prep to basically just doing whatever exercise felt good on that day as prep went on. So I'd start off with more or less the session structures were the same, but it'd just be whatever exercises actually felt good for me on that day. And generally it'd be sticking to the same sort of exercises because they felt better as prep went on as well. So all machine-based stuff were basically my go-tos, which I'll touch on more with training program going forward as well. Starting out, I started with things like squats and barbell deadlifts and RDLs, and there were definitely free weight movements in there. I wasn't benching through any of prep this year, but yeah, so starting out I had squats in, I had hack squats, I had Smith machine squats, RDLs, barbell deadlifts, all that sort of stuff. They definitely felt fine early stages of prep, even dumbbell stuff. They felt fine early stages of prep, but then as I got leaner, leverages start changing once body fat comes off. So basically those sort of things go out in favor of machine-based things. So I went more towards leg pressing for leg days. Regular conventional deadlifts just went out completely because I was getting lower back movement through, or lower back work through RDLs and 45-degree back extensions. Through like the middle phase of prep, pressing went from dumbbells where I had to stabilize to all machine-based stuff where I had that external stabilization. And then even later stages of prep, I took barbell RDLs out because they were probably the biggest one that I took out because my hamstrings just felt horrible and I felt like I was going to tear my hamstring anytime I did them. So they went out and 45-degree back extensions became my main hinging movement. Yeah, so they'd be the main things in terms of exercise I avoid. And now that off seasons come around, all of those things are back in. Free-weight movements are becoming the primary exercise every single session now. So I'm deadlifting, I'm doing RDLs, I'm doing incline barbell bench, I'm doing flat barbell bench. Basically just trying to get back to all those bread and butter, basic, heavy compound movements that I can stack on a lot of thick, dense muscle with. Yeah, so training-wise, the main goal is just to pack on as much quality lean tissue as possible. Not a concrete plan of when I'm going to get on stage next. Late 25 at the earliest, although it's looking a bit more like 26 at this stage. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what sort of position we're in this sort of time next year. But yeah, after such a long season, the last thing I want to think about is actually starting another prep. So currently just getting back to enjoying training, getting strong again. Gym goals that I want to hit this year, benching 140 for reps again, deadlifting 200 for reps. I want to get up to a 250 deadlift minimum. One goal that I set last off season was deadlifting 220 conventional for 6 reps plus. So that's definitely something I want to tick off this year because I never got there. I got to 5, but never quite crossed that 6 rep mark. So that's definitely something I've got to knock off this year. Loading up on barbell rows, getting strong there. Main thing is just prioritizing execution, making sure I get full range of motion on everything. Stay healthy through the off season, make sure I can make the most out of this extended time. Make sure that I deliver a pro level physique next time I get up there. Cool.
Been a while.
Yeah, has been since we actually did an outro to a video.
Like 3 months.
Yeah, since we actually like mic'd up for a video and did all of that. No, we did that one leg day here where I was mic'd up. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We will be back with more videos throughout the rest of the off season, get some regular content out. If there's anything you want to see on the channel going forward, just leave a comment down below. Yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, do all that good YouTube shit, and I'll see you guys in the next one.